Hey folks, it is Monday, November 30th. The time is 10:45 a.m. and the temperature right now is around 2 degrees Celsius. And this is the skating rink at Nathan Phillips Square. And it's not too busy this morning. And there's a look at New City Hall and a look up at Old City Hall. And I just finished recording a walk that took me west along Queen Street East, and I started at Broadview and I finished up right here at Nathan Phillips Square. And I don't normally record walks back to back like this, but I thought since I'm here and I have some battery life left and it's still kind of snowing, I thought why not record a second one. So this is Queen Street West. And for this one, I think I'm just going to walk a block to the west of here to York Street, and I'll head south through the financial district. And then when I get to Front Street, I'll make a U-turn of sorts, and I'll head north up University Avenue. And I'll take that to where University comes to an end at College Street. I'll probably hop in a Queen's Park station there. There's some ice sculptures that were carved out on Saturday evening. And I was here to witness part of that. Well, I guess now it's 10:45. I was off by a few minutes at the start of this one. And the snow seems to have really let up. Now it's Osgood Hall on the other side of that gate there. That's a large law society. And to the south of here is the financial district, so I'll be turning south here at York Street. There's a 501H Queen Street bus, and that one will be going to Humber. The streetcars are currently a mess right now. And if you can decode any of these route change notices the TTC has posted, then you should eventually be able to get to where you're going. There's the 501L and the 501B. The 501B is going to Broadview. I wonder if that's what the B stands for. And it looks like we'll have our light in a second. Some renovations here at the Sheraton Hotel that's made the sidewalk rather unpedestrian friendly. This is Richmond Street West, where there. There's a bike lane. Those are some squeaky disc brakes. Holy cow. And if the financial district seems dead, that's, well, because it is, at least at street level. I think only about 30% of the usual workforce has showed up. That's pretty much due to the pandemic. And connecting most of these towers underneath is a very large underground network called the Path. That's where people tend to be when there's bad weather. There's a keg. And it's just kind of gently misting right now. Hey, a pigeon party. And this is Adelaide Street. I always kind of like the view that you get when you look to the east. I'll try to point the camera that way. When I'm crossing, you get kind of a neat skyscraper canyon effect. And it's particularly neat today with the towers kind of shrouded in fog. I think that view has been a thumbnail or two of mine in the past. Someone asked me if we have Earls and Cactus Club in Toronto. And there's an Earls and there's a Cactus Club just around the corner from here on the north side of First Canadian Place. Rigo and Bespoke Clothiers. I wonder if bespoke is another way of saying expensive. And this here would be King Street. And those are the 504 King Street cars, which don't really go past the distillery because there's track work being done on Broadview. So it's not just the Queen Street car that's pretty much a nightmare these days. Open Text, the information company. And the TV center is here on the left. They've got some pretty spectacular Christmas trees set up, although they're the same ones they had last year. We'll take a quick detour through the courtyard. And a lot of the office towers have trees in their lobbies. I'll be doing a Christmas decorations in the financial district walk at some point. Although I'll be doing that one once it's dark out. There's a look at the trees in the morning. There's actually 3 of them. And some of the TD Center towers. All right, time to get back on course. Wellington is a one-way street, so I'll just take this opportunity to cross. This is a very New York City movie kind of vibe to it. This mist coming out of the ground. And just up here on the left is the Royal York Hotel. And there's a shuttle bus that'll take you back and forth between here and the Island Airport. I can't imagine a Lyft or Uber would cost very much. It's really just down the street from here. And they've probably cut back on frequency during the pandemic. So I'll be turning right here and then heading north up University Avenue.
For me, it was cut and dry because
It's a very loud talker just walking by. But I'm curious if they've opened the skating rink here in front of Union Station. And if they have, it looks like it's fenced off. There's the local legend, it's the Singing Man. You can normally be seen walking down the middle of the street singing. And instead of sticking to the median here, he's still out in the road. All right, I'm gonna try to cross here. And then we'll begin our trek north up University, up to college. York Street ends to the south here at Queens Quay, right by the lake. I'm just going to make sure the camera lens hasn't fogged up or anything. Even though I use an umbrella, this is kind of light, dusty mist or flurries. It tends to blow all over the camera lens. So now it's north up one of my favorite streets downtown. That's University Avenue. It's not a particularly vibrant or busy street as far as pedestrian life is concerned, but it's kind of a nice stroll. There goes that shuttle bus. So I'm guessing that I'll just be going south down to Queens Quay. And I'll head over to Bathurst and I'll turn left. And here's Wellington Street West. Once more. I think the precipitation might be completely over. And it's back to King Street West. And here's where you'll find St. Andrew Station. Gonna look into the entertainment district. And this way is, of course, the financial district. University would be the western boundary of the financial district. That's Pearl Street. I think that runs to the west over to John, and then it comes to an end. And it is 11 a.m. right now. And 0 degrees Celsius, according to the sign at Cafe Landwer. Let's look over at the Shangri-La. And I can't help myself but to once again look east along Adelaide. And I gotta say, I definitely feel a bit overdressed at this point. Maybe it's because I've been walking for quite a while already. There's Momofuku. Some pretty good ramen noodles are to be had over there. Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. I haven't been to this location, but I've been to one that's over by the airport, or at least that's where it used to be. There's the Four Seasons Center for the Performing Arts, aka the new Opera House. And it's back to Queen Street. I'm thinking, do I want to be on the east side or the west side? I think the last few times I've walked up University, I was on the west side. Maybe I'll stick to the east side. And you often get a neat view looking south where you can see the CN Tower, but it is completely shrouded in fog. And my phone is ringing. It's probably a robocall. It's a borderline epidemic of those. Let me take a look. Missed call number that looks just like mine, but not quite. Looks like someone who wants to get my credit card number down so they can come clean my ducts. That's a well-known scam that's been going on. On top of fake calls from the Canada Revenue Service and free vacation giveaways. I don't know how many times I've won a cruise or a fabulous getaway over the past while. I don't even answer or acknowledge the phone calls anymore. There's a look into Osgoode Hall. And just on the other side of that is where I started this walk. That is New City Hall. There's the Beaux Arts Canada Life building. And that's a weather vane on the top there, which seems to indicate the temperature is rising. There's the provincial courthouse. So this is really it in terms of grand boulevards in the city. So often if there's a parade or a big event, it'll run up University. I know when the Raptors won the championship, part of their parade was along this route. And there's a look at the U.S. consulate. And Tata Consulting. That used to be occupied by Zurich, a large insurer. So coming up is St. Patrick's Station at Dundas. And then it'll just be one more stop to the north. Okay, I just chucked my phone there when I tried to pull the umbrella in. That's the first time I've ever done something, or checked my phone, checked my camera. It turned itself off in the spill. But it still seems to be working. I can't believe I did that. Hopefully the lens has not been scratched or suffered any damage. I'll check that out when I get home. That's kind of funny. Good old Butterfingers Johnny. If the camera did meet its end there, it wouldn't be the end of the world. I have another one of these. And two more of the older model. But one of the advantages of having two is when I go out recording, I don't necessarily need a battery pack with me. I can just swap cameras. I recently did a 2-hour walk. Well, not recently, a few months ago, around downtown, and that's what I did when one of them stopped recording. I switched to the other camera. And here's an old building. I think this was the home of McLean's magazine. And they'll be adding another tower to the top of this. Similar to what they did across the street there. They reclad an old tower and added an extension to the top. I'm sure if the developer could have their way, they would just tear it all down. I still can't believe I chucked my camera onto the sidewalk. Oops. And then Toronto's Discovery District. I'm thinking when I get home I should probably recalibrate the gimbal on this. That tumble might have thrown it off. And I'm walking through an area known for its hospitals. There's 4 major hospitals on this stretch, including a couple of world-renowned ones. There's Princess Margaret and Mount Sinai, Toronto General, and Sick Kids.
Are we there yet?
And here's Elm Street. I'm sure there's somebody on that street who has nightmares from time to time. and it's sick kids. There's some scuffs and cosmetic damage on the camera, but it seems to be okay. I'm really lucky the memory card didn't fly out of it and get damaged or lost. That would have sucked. I would have lost 2 videos if that were to have happened. Typical Toronto driver. Even though they can see perfectly fine from behind the sidewalk, they insist on blocking pedestrians. Well done, and they're turning right. It's not like they have to make a left turn where they might need to creep out for added visibility. I guess I shouldn't say typical. Most drivers are pretty good. And this is the start of Gerrard Street. There's the Ted Rogers Center for Heart Research. That's part of the Toronto General Hospital. There's some really underrated, nice old buildings on University. That one there is the Peter Monk Cardiac Center. And that imposing looking building straight ahead is the Provincial Legislative Assembly. And that's at Queen's Park. That would be the Ontario equivalent to a US Capitol building. And that's where such intelligent decisions as shutting down tennis courts in the middle of summer was made. It's not necessarily staffed by our best and brightest. Well, this building's quite interesting. On the right, that's the Mars building. It's kind of like an innovation hub. And here we are at College Street. So just to the north of here, it becomes Queen's Park. And then that runs up to University or Bloor Street. And then north of Bloor Street, it becomes Avenue Road. One last look at the Provincial Legislative Assembly. And just to the north of here, on both sides, is the University of Toronto St. George campus. Although that's predominantly on the west side of Queen's Park. And this is kind of a nice walk north up through there. But I shall be heading into the subway station here. I don't know why I'm choosing to walk around behind it. I have to put my mask on. I'll try not to launch my camera onto the sidewalk. That's cool. We just hit 10,000 steps.
It's all for teacher lecture like you're here. Oh yeah.
I've got my mask on. Without shucking the camera down the stairs here. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this walk. Starting at Nathan Phillips Square, heading south down York Street, and then turning around and heading north up University Avenue, up the entire length of University to here at Queen's Park Station. If you wish to support the channel, there's links to Patreon and YouTube channel membership in the description. I have an Instagram account as well, and there's a link to PayPal if you wish to send a donation. Thank you for watching, guys, and I will catch you on the next one.
Line 1, doors finished. Please stand clear of the doors. Next station is St. Patrick Station.